I love Chipotle. I eat Chipotle at least once a week.
I respect that. I've never had it, but I do respect that.
I get a vegetarian bowl with extra guac. Fun fact, if you guys get extra rice and extra black beans, they can't charge you for that, and it makes it last 2 days. What do you guys think about that?
Ah,
Chipotle Hacks with Lapstown Podcast. Hey team, what's up? My name is Andrea.
and I'm MJ. I was mid drink. I'm MJ.
Yeah, I decided to start the podcast the moment you picked that water bottle up.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. No problem. And you might be thinking, why am I watching this right now? You guys just told us you were a Tuesday podcast. Things change, including IndyCar. A lot has changed. So we decided we were going to make an IndyCar silly season special because as much as you guys love 3-hour episodes, I genuinely think if we tried to cover all of this plus the F1 and the NASCAR race, I don't even think it would be 3 hours. I think it would be 6 to 7 hours. And I think Spotify would put a hold on our account and they'd be like, these girls are insane and they have to stop talking into a microphone. They have to.
Yeah, someone would come and take them away from us. It wouldn't be possible. Yeah, the microphones.
I thought they would take us away from society.
I mean, it would do the same thing, in my personal opinion. I think it would be equally as beneficial. Unfortunately, we found a loophole. So you're going to get a little bonus silly season episode first 72 hours of silly season episode. And then we'll also have the regular episode on Monday. It'll be on Monday this week, won't it? Or Tuesday?
We could just work. I'm so glad you guys could be here for this logistical meeting. So we'll probably record it tomorrow, and then I'll just upload it on Tuesday.
Record it on
morning,
Sunday. Okay, record it on Sunday, right. Upload on Tuesday. Cool.
So that people get used to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to ease them in.
Yeah. We're already going back on what we've said, so it's like okay, Tuesday episode. You're gonna have your Saturday episode. That's only gonna happen this time, and then your Tuesday episode.
Wow. Ta-da. This is going great. So that's what we're doing. What I was thinking was that we could kind of cover the sequence of events as they unfolded. So as if wipe your noggin, you're hearing all this news for the first time, and I want your thoughts on each and individual one as the news came out. It was like the third shoe at Penske had dropped, but it was like all day, Monday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. And let's talk about that just as an overall arching theme. What is their problem and why did they decide to do all this now? Like, do you guys realize that you have like a 6-month off season? Like, please, like, where is this marketing budget going? Like, spread it out. Spread it out.
They just wanted to get it out of the way. They said, nobody's really talking about us right now. Maybe we should. No, but that's not even true because we were all talking about them. Yeah. And we would have continued to talk about them for multiple months. But
I had at least two more weeks in me of bullshitting about where willpower was going to go. I had at least 2 more weeks of that in me.
Oh, I was planning on doing it until boots on the ground at St. Pete.
Yeah. So that was crazy. I do you think that it was like a concerted effort for all of this news to, like, was it planned for all this news to come out like day 1, day 2 of silly season has begun and then go radio silence?
I think probably a little bit because I think the Penske news was always going to kind of come out pretty quick because they would have had to like let willpower go so that he could find somewhere else to take a spin in next year. And I think because that shoe dropped, then we got the Colton Herta shoe so that they could drop the third shoe of willpower. The Renus VK one, I think, probably didn't need to come out right now. But I did think it was funny.
Renus, honey, we were busy. You know what I mean? Like the Renus thing, I was kind of like, honey,
it's not the time.
And that's so great for you. We don't have to do that right now, though.
No, bless his heart. That was funny, though. I did think that because I was like, go ahead.
I was thinking, what if he doesn't know about any of this other news and he had no idea any of this was coming out? And then he's like, no, fuck.
That's kind of also what I was thinking is he was like, oh, okay, so we're going to be like riding the Penske wave for a minute. Like the David Malukas news is going to come out, and then people are going to be like, well, who's going to fill that other seat? And then I'll be like, whoa, remember when I announced that I wasn't going to go to Dale Coyne? Here I am. But I think truly we were going to follow the willpower storyline a little bit more than the Penske seat storyline,
Uh-huh.
because I think we've already kind of decided what's going to happen with that. But should we?
Let's
So willpower on, it was Tuesday morning, right when I got to work.
On Monday we enjoyed a beautiful Labor Day.
And shout out to them for respecting the holiday.
And shout out to the laborers. You know what I mean? Like, you guys
Shout
don't get
out.
shouts outs enough.
No.
Like, let me hear it for the laborers. Labor Day.
We love the laborers. Labor and delivery. Hell yeah.
Uh-huh.
You guys are working so hard out there.
That's what that's for. Yeah.
I mean, I'd assume so. So we had Monday. Nothing happened on Monday. When I had time to like film videos or anything, they were like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to do anything today. And then on Tuesday morning, first thing in the morning, it was announced that willpower would not be returning to Penske. Penske was the one who announced it. They made their statement. Willpower also had a statement on it. And it kind of sounded like from the statement, it kind of leaned more towards willpower had made this decision to step away.
Breaking.
Oh, Andrea is showing the breaking news graphic from IndyCar on her phone for all the audio listeners.
No, that's helpful. That's helpful. Don't laugh at me. It's
no,
helpful
it
to
is.
People, they need a visual.
Yeah. So where were you when the shoe dropped, girl?
Okay, so I am going to be honest. I was on my way into work and I was driving, so I couldn't really read this statement. So I just like knew, I read like the first couple lines and I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. I didn't realize it was a slideshow where there was like a willpower part of the statement. So I thought it was a lot more brutal than maybe it was intended to come across, because I was just like,
that's a risky take, doing a carousel.
Right. Like there's a chance I don't scroll. And then I just think it's Roger Penske and the Penske team making this statement. I'm like, where's Will? Have we checked on him? Like, do we have like a sign of life? It was even more startling considering like we were all still riding the high on social media of the several videos of drumming at Tootsie's. And honestly, I have to appreciate it because I didn't remember it that much. And so it was good that it was there on the internet. But I was like, he was just having a good time drumming at Tootsie's, and now we have to deal with this. He's brutally been dropped. Then once you read the second part of the carousel, you go, Will seems like this was mutual. But like I've been told that this hasn't been mutual and that Penske's brutally dropping him. What's going on? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it did kind of sound more like it was, and I think it was probably just how it was written. I know it maybe doesn't give as much insight into the actual situation as we would like to think, but it did sound like it was a we have just decided it's not going to work out for us thing, instead of Penske being like, we have decided not to re-sign willpower,
Right.
versus like willpower being like, I have decided not to re-sign with Penske. Although I did kind of get those vibes. It did kind of, in my personal opinion, read
It's
like
the font.
I'm not it, dude. Okay. No, you brought it up, so I can talk about it.
No, this is a comedy podcast. We're gonna talk about the font choice.
I'm so sick of people making announcement graphics that are white text on a black background. I can't read that. Do not do that. Just if you're gonna do it, just make it a notes app apology. But you know who else does it really bad? Sorry. No, I'm going to go for it. Alpine. When Alpine announces something, they make it this tiny font. They put it on like the background photo is a picture, and they just do like what we do for our graphics where they like put an overlay over it, like a single color overlay. And then they make these tiny ass, and I'm like,
trade secrets, MJ. Now people are going to start making their graphics like Labs Down.
Oh, yeah, because we are so unique in everything we do. I don't know. That it just, anytime I get white text on a black background, I'm like, this again.
Well, I was just confused by the timeline because I was expecting this to come out a little bit later. So I thought somebody died. Because I'm like, black screen with white text, somebody died. Somebody passed away. Because I didn't think it would be the willpower thing, because willpower was just like kind of giving the vibes that this was a conversation to be had, I thought, after Labor Day. Does Roger Penske not care about laborers?
I think it happened on Labor Day, from what it sounded like. He was like at Nashville on Sunday. He's like, I think it's gonna actually happen tomorrow. The conversation's not today. I think it's gonna be tomorrow.
He said
I
that?
think it was.
Will?
Yeah, that's what he said, because people were following him to the Penske like trailer.
Oh.
And they were like, oh, big discussions coming. I think it might have been Nathan Brown. And then he was like, oh no, actually Will just came back out and said that it's going to be a conversation had tomorrow.
Labor Day, Roger. Why? So I don't know. I guess I just didn't think it was going to be that news. And then I didn't think it would be at like 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. I didn't think it was gonna be black text on a white screen. I was just taken off guard. I, however, think that this is like a fair point for us to talk about. Is that a fair way to get rid of a driver that has had such like a legacy on your team and has been like such an integral part of like the brand, the success, the image, everything for years? Is there ever a better way? Is there ever a good way to handle this?
Certainly better ways, I would say. Making a driver that has been just like so consistent and successful for you for decades, millions of years, hundreds of thousands of millions of years.
Dinosaur.
Dropping him in a way that's so unceremonious. Not to mention the fact they made him wait until the season was over. He was the only driver who won for Penske. He had to deal with like people being like, well, do you think you're good enough for Penske? And he's like, well, have I not been good enough for Penske this whole time? The only thing that's changed is the circumstances at Penske. He's like, if anything, I'm getting better with age. He didn't say that, but I'm saying that. So I wasn't super thrilled for Will Power on the way they dropped him. I thought it was kind of disrespectful. If they decided, like it's not going to work out, you clearly want a multi-year contract, we're not willing to give that to you. That kind of, in my opinion, should have been something that was like talked about at the beginning of the year. Been like, okay, I just want you to know you should anticipate probably going to a different team. Or maybe not at the beginning of the year, because I don't know how that mindset would work out if you put Will Power in a car that he had Will Penske. Could you imagine that he had nothing to do with in the future? I don't know how he would have acted in that. I don't know if I would have blamed him.
He's like, I think I'm going to crash it every weekend. No reason.
He's like, I think you guys are going to be shocked, but I am going to bulldoze some other cars. Yeah. But I wasn't super thrilled with how they did it. I thought that really wasn't fair to Will Power, who has such a legacy with Penske and has done so much for the Penske name. I don't know. What are your vibes on the dropping?
Well, I think, okay, couple things. First of all, I think this is like across all motorsports. I think like as somebody who started motorsports with an F1 forward journey, I think it's like hard for me because this is just how it goes. But I hate not knowing when it's somebody's last race in a car. Like I love to like reminisce. I love to be nostalgic. I love to do the whole, oh my God, this is the last time that they're like,
yeah.
Like when you think about like, for example, like Mercedes and Lewis, like we had so much like, ooh, this is the last time he's going to win in this car. Like this is the last time he's going to be in this car. Like he gets to do donuts in this car for the last time. I love that shit. I eat it up. I hate when an F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, whatever. And I get that this is why they have to do it this way in a way. Keep it behind closed doors as to not like create drama and whatever. But I'm like, I just wanted to know. And I'm like, sure, Will Power before that meeting with Roger probably had a pretty good idea where shit was shaken. Clearly, he already had some stuff lined up with Andretti, as we'll get to later. But I didn't know. And I'm the fan. And I haven't even been here that long. So it's like for the fans that have been here for the entirety of Will Power's career at Penske, like they deserved to be nostalgic over it. Fuck Roger. Fuck with love, Will. Like you guys have your own moment. That's fine. But like, what about the fans? They deserve to have their moment. You know what I'm saying?
It did kind of suck for the sport just to.
Imagine how
I
full
mean,
the stands would have been in Nashville if you straight up just said
it was going to
this
be
is going to
his
be Will
last
Power's
race
last race
at
at Penske.
Penske. Even be like, this could be his last race in general. That probably would have sold some tickets. I probably would have been there. No, I wouldn't have, but maybe.
She would
And
have thought about it.
I would have definitely wanted to be there. Yeah, that is interesting. And it is really across all motorsports that does that.
So sick and twisted. But
And
then, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and the fact that Penske really benefited of the narrative up until like the last minute of like, will they, won't they? Like, we're going. One of the main storylines of this weekend, because Alex Palou had already clinched the title, was like, what's gonna happen with Will Power? It's like, you didn't deserve any of that narrative.
No. I also think that there's something else that's happening across motorsports. And Will is just like another example of it. And actually, funny enough, it compares pretty well to the Lewis Hamilton thing as well. There's this thing where people are so scared to lose out on this young talent that they're willing to cast aside the like people that built them to where they are. And I can understand if Will Power wasn't performing and you go, well, we have this younger talent with David Malukas and we've got to find a spot for him. But the fact that they are willing to overlook the fact that he is the one performing on that team. And that's no shade to Scotty Mack or Joseph Newgarden. I understand every single one of them have an asterisk next to their fucking performances all year. Everything was going wrong for them in every way, and the drivers tried, but like it just wasn't working. But it did work for Will at times. So to be like, we're willing to cast aside this talent that we still have for this untested, in my opinion, younger talent. It reminds me of like the Lewis not being able to get a multi-year deal because heaven forbid we lose Kimmy. It's like a narrative across motorsports that I wonder like what's driving this? Has this always been there and I just haven't been around long enough to see it? At what point do you like weigh the pros and cons? Like where else would David Malukas have been going realistically? It's not like there's a bajillion other fucking IndyCar teams that are better than Penske that David Malukas would have like foregone his relationship with Penske to like be like, well, you didn't give me a seat. I wanted a seat next year and you didn't give it to me. He probably has not a lot of cards in his deck. He would have waited AJ Foyt either way.
Yeah, I think.
Right?
Well, I think that what you're saying is a good point. This like phenomenon that happens where it's like pushing out a successful but like older driver to take on this new talent and whether or not it's like worth it. I do wonder. This may simply be because of when Will's contract was up, but I wonder if it wasn't Will's contract, if it was Scotty Mack or if it was Joseph Newgarden's contract that was up, if they would be like, okay, well, we got to push out one of these guys to get David Malukas. But I don't know if I feel like that's the case. So I do think it was a little targeted at Will, but whatever. The only thing that maybe contradicts what you're saying is I know that there is a bit of a partnership behind scenes. If it were like, I don't, okay.
Y'all ever heard of B2B marketing?
Yeah. Whoa, crazy how full circle we have come. Like I think we talked about B2B marketing in our first ever episode.
No, I texted you and I was like, I'm going to be so fucking for real with you. I don't know what that shit means, but I will just follow your lead.
Yeah. God, that's really good. But that's why I think the Kimmy situation is just a little bit different because like Kimmy is like an up and coming, like raw talent that it's like, I don't think that same hype is around David Malukas at this current time. That being said, sure, he could have potential. Yes, I would think it's more of a business situation, but it still sucks that someone so respected and accomplished in the sport as Will Power was the one who had to be pushed out for. But I mean, we don't even know technically if it's David Malukas who is going to take over that seat. But that's kind of what the speculation is at this point, that gosh dang it, that David Malukas is going to take over Will Power's seat at Penske, which is why I think we got the news on Tuesday, a little bit after this Will Power bombshell was dropped, that Rinus VeeKay did not sign another year with Dale Coyne Racing. Yes, Andrea.
I feel a little played. I took a little picture of him in front of that freaking purple car. Did you see that? I'm not cussing. I'm working on it. I took a picture in front of that purple car. He had that little smile, his little mustache. We were going to eat breakfast together, us and Rinus and the Dale Coyne team. One big happy family. I thought we were family, Rinus. Yeah, he was never fucking staying there. I just wonder when they knew that, because they were like, we would love to have Rinus stay and drive this purple car. And I was like, Rinus is not making eye contact with you right now.
I was like, why did you say it like that? Why did you say that when he's in front of all these people? Like,
yeah, is he gonna stay with you or not? Ask him right now. Like, have you guys not discussed it or something? What's happening? So I'm like, did they already know and they were just like putting on a fucking show, or did Rinus very recently tell them that? Because if so, I'm like, Rinus, do you have a seat locked down? Because if not, maybe how open is that door to go back to Dale Coyne if this AJ Foyt thing doesn't play the way you think it will?
I can't help but imagine, and this is when I like wish we were like insiders in the IndyCar paddock. We're not.
Nathan Brown, give us a tour.
Please show us inside. We're not. Everything that we're saying is speculation. But
I've never talked to a driver.
I've never even seen a driver. I haven't even watched IndyCar yet.
I will say, just as like a little funny aside, I can talk to drive. I don't, because I don't like, I'm not going to pretend like they know who I am and I'm like their friend or whatever. There are a few drivers I recently discovered I cannot talk to. I am firmly and forever a fangirl, and they make me scared. And I don't want to be in the same room as them. I'd prefer not to look at them, and I don't want them to look at me.
No, and speak on it.
And MJ knows there's like 3.
I do. And when she told me, and you will never know. Frankly, you will never know. But when she told me what the list was, I was a little shocked. Just what I know about Andrea, and I was a little shocked at the drivers that she has found that she struggles to talk to. But I do wish we were IndyCar insiders, because I'd love to know when these dominoes were falling, because it kind of sounded like, from what we were being told, was that it was likely that he was going to stay at Dale Coyne. And then it was like, well, he might be going to Hookos. And then it was like, well, he's definitely not going to Dale Coyne. And now we potentially have an AJ Foyt seat. I just want to know what happened first. Has he been in talks with Penske and or Foyt, and or Will Power being like, kid, here's the deal. I know something's going to be happening soon. You can't sign another contract with Dale Coyne. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I've heard, here's more speculation, that it sounds like Dale Coyne might be bringing an entirely new lineup next year, which we did kind of get the little inkling that Dennis Hauger sounds like he, from what Dan Towers said during his little ceremony for kicking literal butt in Indy Next, that he will be on the IndyCar grid next year. So it's like, okay, well, now Dale Coyne's open. Clearly, there's not an Andretti seat open, even more now than what there could have been. I don't know. Everything is speculation. Everything is confusing.
Because, like, if Dennis were to go to Dale Coyne, how long would he have to stay there, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what would he be trying to play to next?
So Marcus Ericsson's contract, I believe, is up next year.
Right. Yeah. Because that was the big thing, because everybody thought that Marcus Ericsson was, yeah.
I had the theory. I was totally rocking with the theory. I was not subscribing to the Colton Herta's going to the Formula Academy. I was rocking with they're gonna get Will Power, but it's gonna be in the 28. I was wrong. Shockingly, me being
No,
wrong. Never.
I like at the time with the information we had, MJ, that was a good prediction.
I thought so. I thought it was good, and we had
So
Flava Flav wearing the jersey. I was like, what's
I
more
thought that
sure
was
than
confirmed.
that?
Yeah, but like Flava Flav was still kind of wearing an Andretti jersey.
Hey,
Wow,
maybe Flava Flav was right this whole time.
Know something. He just didn't know
Do
like
you think
exactly. Do you
maybe
think they informed
Will?
him?
So I think what was happening, here's my hypothesis. Will was talking to Roger, right? And when Will was getting a vibe, he would just kind of like text Flava Flav, and he'd be like, I don't know, mate.
Is Flava Flav his manager, do you think?
I think Flava Flav is his soulmate in a way.
Okay, right. Continue. His Waka Flocka to his Robert Schwartzman, if you may.
Yes. What?
We'll talk about that at a later date.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
We don't have time.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't unpack
I don't know. But I don't know. Sorry, the picture of like Waka Flocka and Robert Schwartzman like taking shots on stage while like No Hands is playing in the background just like flooded into my brain. I've lost
the plot,
all track. But Marcus Ericsson, contract up, Dennis Hauger, potentially coin to Andretti pipeline, ? Exclamation point, circle it, highlight it, keep an eye on it.
So a similar pipeline, you say have Rinus VK. So now with Rinus, we're looking at Juncos or AJ Foyt, probably. That's not confirmed, but it's like. So the pipeline from AJ Foyt, all roads lead to Penske, or it just stays at AJ Foyt. Is that a good place for Rinus to be because like there's not an immediate opening like there was with David to Penske. Right. So it's like, would you be happy just being at AJ Foyt if you were Rinus? Or is that still just a 1-year deal? Do you think he's like, you know what, let me play there a little bit, show myself a little bit better than I can in a Dale Coyne, but leave options. Rinus is a leave options open type of guy. And we'll just sign like maybe a 1 year.
That's a really good question. But I think the thing is unlike with Dale Coyne, where the future is leaving Dale Coyne, there is a way to move up in the AJ Foyt like Penske relationship. So maybe in that case, he would be more willing to sign a multi-year or like a hey, I'll do a couple years here, but when I start winning races, you have to put me in Penske kind of deal. I don't know if he has that kind of leverage. There maybe a deal. I just can't help but think if he gets in an AJ Foyt, he's going to win races. He's going to have a very good future. But I don't know if I feel that way about David Malukas going up to Penske. So it's like, could that potentially be? Could he eventually replace David in this little pipeline? Could he potentially replace, I don't know, Joseph Newgarden?
He's a backup in case the David Malukas thing isn't the hype that Penske thought it was.
Possibly. The only thing is like what David Malukas brings that Rinus VK always has podiums and like successful drives and wins. But financially, obviously, David Malukas would be the way to go is the only thing I think. However, we do have some Penske drivers still waiting in the wings. Miles Rowe. And so do we potentially see Miles Rowe come up into Penske? Does he take, or not Penske, but like the Penske pipeline? Does he potentially take Rinus VK's seat if he were to go there in the future? Does he potentially kick out Santino Ferrucci, which I will be the first to say that I think I would really enjoy a lineup that consists of Rinus VK and Miles Rowe. I think that would be.
I would be buying. I'm sorry. I would be buying AJ Foyt merch, and I never thought I would say these words on that on this particular podcast and into this particular mic. I would be buying AJ Foyt merch.
Oh, absolutely! But we do know for sure that Miles Rowe is going to be doing another year in Indy next. So that's a conversation we won't have until what? Santino Ferrucci's contract, I think, is up. Isn't it next season?
That's a great question.
Ask Kyle.
I'm starting to think Are you pissed off if you're Santino right now? Because it seems like everybody's making moves around you. What's your move, buddy? Where are you going? What's your
So,
plan?
sure, you can be pissed off, but I don't think he's performing in a way that would make him.
He's on one of those fuck ass multi year. Could be 26,
Oh,
could be 27.
okay. Okay. So that gives Miles Rowe some time to win the Indy Next Championship. But I don't. It's like Santino Ferrucci. He's. I mean, I would say he's like upper midfield driver. Like he is competitive. He
Yeah.
works well in the AJ Foyt car. Clearly, AJ Foyt's team likes him.
Likes him.
It's just he's not putting up wins. He's been there for a while. He's barely putting up podiums. So I mean, how can you be mad when it's like these drivers who have, like, I don't know, these B2B relationships come up and make it into the talks into Penske, or even how Rinus VeeKay is now in the talks to be your co-driver. It's like he has a little bit more success and I think less time, question mark, I'm not sure, than Santino
He
himself.
is
So
younger.
it's like
I don't
he's
know if
definitely
he's had
younger.
less
I think
time.
I don't know. I won't speak on that. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. That's
We
something
weren't here back then, guys. We weren't
we
here back
just
then.
got here. But I mean, he can be upset all he wants. I just don't think it's logical for him to be in the talks for the Penske seat. I don't think he offers anything. But that being said, do we see him be like, well, you guys clearly are never going to promote me? Does he go somewhere else? Do we see him at, me trying to think of somewhere we could see him? Juncos, maybe?
Santino, I heard Dale Coyne's hired. I'm just kidding.
Dale Coyne. Do we see him at Prema? Do we see him at Chip Ganassi Racing? Probably not. But maybe. Probably not.
I feel like we haven't heard much from Prema, considering all the rumors that they were not doing so hot.
So,
funding wise, I'm like, are y'all good or?
A rumor hit the feeds today. A rumor. That there could potentially be some kind of technical alliance between JHR and Prema. So I don't know if that would help them find. That's just interesting me in general, because do you remember the rumors from the beginning of the season where Juncos was looking at having a technical alliance with an F1 team?
Yeah, I remember they were talking. I read an article that was like Juncos was like, Williams needs a place to put their engineers to train them up and develop them without it going over the cost cap. So they'll send their engineers to us. We will develop their engineers and like be like a talent pipeline to the eventual F1 team without them having to spend money out of their cost cap. And I remember I sent that to you. That must have been so long ago now.
It was very long ago. And I haven't heard anything about it since. But rarely do I ever hear anything about JHR.
I think that I'm confused because it's like, why would you want to enter a technical alliance with somebody that you're competing with like race to race? Like, it works better when you're like a Chip Ganassi to a Meyer Shank, because it's like upper level to mid tier team. If you have like two teams that are like competing directly against each other.
We've kind of run out of the teams where anything else would be possible, though, now. A lot of the people who are left are going to be teams who are competing against each other. The teams who are not already, because JHR had a technical alliance last year with McLaren, and obviously that was cut because of the Agustin Canapino. Wasn't it the Agustin Canapino? I think that's what happened. Situation, if I'm recalling correctly. But, yeah, I don't know how this pipeline started. But that was not the end of the breaking news.
Well, I was getting scared because I was like, I'm going to have to see Will Power in a fucking RLL, aren't I? Wrong.
I still wish, I've said this multiple times, I'm thrilled that he's going where he's going. But there was a little part of me that I was like, put him in an RLL. Let them know that the car can race on Sundays, and it is not just a Saturday car. I want to see someone win in an RLL, and I know it's not going to be the current lineup. I mean, unless Foster can get it done, I'm like, definitely not going to be any of them.
Hey, that's Rookie of the Year you're talking about.
He is Rookie of the Year, and he hates the Beatles.
Dude, fuck. don't even get me on that again, please.
I know. I'm just saying.
I will say we had that whole talk about that, and then the IMS Instagram page posted that thing with the Beatles, and I was like, good to know where you guys stand on this. Good to know that we have a statement of a sorts. You guys have made your stance clear. Okay, so then we have had this floating rumor for a long while, like 2 weeks at this point, that Colton was going to F2. I think at first I thought it was silly. And then I have like a tier list in my brain of like when I hear these people start to say it, I'm like, okay, like starting to feel a little more real. And then when I saw Colton kind of never directly say no, like I was thinking of like Alex Pillow, who was like, no, I'm not going to Red Bull. Done. It's really easy to say no when you mean no. When you mean no, you say no. If you don't mean no, you say other stuff. And he was doing a lot of the say the other stuff. And I was starting to be like, Colton, I'm scared. I'm scared, Colton. And then it comes out he is, in fact, well, they didn't say initially going to F2, but they said he was leaving IndyCar to be a test driver, not a reserve driver, because he's not a reserve driver. He's a test driver for Cadillac F1. And then later, Towers said he's going to F2. But like, we didn't want to put that in the post. That didn't hit as hard.
Yeah.
They don't have graphics for he's going to F2. So we just didn't make one of those. What do you think?
I have to be honest, I kind of closed that door in my brain. I was like, there's no way he would tell Andrea all these races that he's excited, that he would love to do in a future season.
Fucking liar to my face, guys. This is how you know I'm not a Paddock insider. They lie to me.
And like, there's no way he's going to literally say to Andrea, I like my job. I want to do more of it. And then go to Formula One. So I was shocked. I was quite shocked. Especially because it happened.
Wait. That was your evidence? You genuinely were like, whew, we're safe.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way he would say that to Andrea. He knows how much I care about what he says to Andrea, and he would not do that to me.
Right.
He wouldn't do that to Haley. He did do that to Haley.
Yeah, he signed her cowboy hat and then just cast it aside like it meant nothing. No, we're just joking, guys. We're not actually mad at Colton, by the way.
No, I am. I'm not joking. Double down.
She's pissed, but I'm fine.
Fuming. I had a train of thought once upon a time. Oh,
you didn't.
This was maybe the most shocking news we got all week, besides like the Rinus VK thing where I was just kind of like, where'd that come from? I was definitely like, oh God. So it is happening. So he is going to be moving away from IndyCar, and now a seat is open. And so I was like, there was like a very, very small part of me where I was like, Dennis? Are we going to get Dennis? And then we still have to wait for the 6th Penske shoe to drop of where Will Power is going to go.
Oh my God,
it's a centipede.
He's apparently is a centipede. Going to RLL according to MJ, and there's no way I really thought back so. On that. So I was like, congratulations, Dennis! You're going to IndyCar.
And I think truly I would have been very excited if they were like, it's not Will Power, it is Dennis. But I'm just giddy with the fact that it is Will Power. I'm sad for Colton though. He doesn't need me to be sad for him. I think he's fine. I think he's chasing his dream. There is part of me that's like, he's going to have to do with Sky Sports. No!
They're never going to understand him like we will, Colton. They're never going to understand you like we will.
There's no hate cauldron. He's going to have to pretend he cares about the British.
Dude. And that's genuine. Okay. I think in my mind, selfishly, I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to argue with so many Europeans now. I didn't want to argue with any Europeans about the legitimacy of IndyCar. I didn't want to argue with you people about this. I thought we were living in our own little America world where we go super licenses are dumb and stupid. And now I got to fucking deal with Europeans sounding off on their opinion on Colton Herta's talent. They've never watched an IndyCar race. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Guys, I was a Logan Sargent fan. That's
different.
Guys,
That's different. That's different. That's very different.
It's not fun supporting an American in F1. It's truly, really, really not. There are no good weekends. They're never going to be nice to him on any broadcast. I only watched F1 TV. It was horrible. Every single time anything happened, they would blame the closest American, and there's only one on the grid. It's truly going to suck. It's truly going to suck. Even though he is like already a respected driver in parts of the Formula pipeline. Obviously, he is still American, so not in every part of the Formula pipeline. But it's like they're still going to treat him the way that they treated Logan, is my anticipation.
Well, and I think what sucks so hard is take Colton out of it. We don't know how Cadillac is going to perform. So this will be in like many ways like Logan, where it's like he's in a fuck-ass
shitty car with a team who is not used to being in. Well, no, Williams was used to being in Formula One, but Cadillac is not used to conducting themselves in Formula One.
So, like, if we would have, like, in a hypothetical world, had seen Alex Palou go to Red Bull, I think, like, that would have been, like, a different type of representation for IndyCar, because it would have been, like, a car that, like, even though it has its issues, it's still, like, it has the potential to be, like, a top 5 qualifying car.
It's been a Formula One car for more than a season. Like,
it's won championship. It's like done stuff. So now it's like everything about Colton's performance when he does get to F1, because he will, I believe it, will be about the car adding an asterisk to any of his performances. But you know what? I'll say it. Whenever Europeans want to talk about his performance in IndyCar, I'm like, see, you don't watch, you don't understand. We've actually already added an asterisk. He had to stop for tires. You didn't take that into account. He had to stop for tires. You didn't watch, or else you would have known his place in the race did not matter once he had to stop for tires.
It will be nice to see him have a pit crew who can pit the car. Oh my God, Will Power is going to have the...
I think Will Power is going to lose his fucking mind.
He's going to get out of the car and do it himself.
I'll put it on. It's a fucking left front. I can put it on. Please.
But it's just, he's going to be so powerful when he can... Dude, he's going to have like a 1.2 second pit stop. Whoa, wait, I'm excited.
They don't even have to refuel. There's no fuel strategy.
Whoa. Oh my God. Scott Dixon would hate F1. I know he was supposed to go to F1, but he would hate F1.
No, yeah, he saw that there was no fuel saving. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to work here. Well, how do you save it if everybody's got the same amount?
So, like,
what's that about?
Are we all saving, or are none of us saving?
No, those are good questions. Sorry, my phone just dinged. If you could hear that. My Nespresso got delivered. I know you guys were wondering. I don't know. I feel like, okay, so he goes to F2 and say he does very well. What does very well look like?
9th or above.
Required? Is that what we're shooting for? Are we shooting for him to like silence the haters, to win it all? No,
he's not going to stop. He's not going to silence you. Like, it just, there is no silencing the haters in F1. That's all F1 is. It's all going to be haters. He just needs to get the super license points. In my personal opinion, get the super license point. Do not Kimi Antonelli your first free practice. Do not Kimi Antonelli your first free practice. Keep it out of the wall.
When they say go, nice and easy, they mean it. It's not a challenge and it's not a joke. They mean it, Colton.
Colton, I cannot express what it's going to do if you get into Valtteri and or Checo's car and then crash it immediately. We're going to have to get rid of... I mean, what are we going to do?
They can't handle that kind of emotional stress, those two. They've been through enough.
And neither can any of us who have been in the trenches out here being
I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I do think we're putting too much pressure on him. I don't want Colton to feel... Colton, please... Don't listen to us.
We are going
venting.
to be the least amount of pressure he faces in the like formula pipeline. Truly. This us being
I
like
made a TikTok and everybody got mad at me.
Us being like, "Hey Colton, don't crash the car. Be chill, do your best, get the super license point, get into Formula 1." I mean, that compared to what Jack fucking Villeneuve is going to be saying?
Oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
I'm going to be listening to F1 TV. I'm going to be listening to the soothing sounds of James Hinchcliffe being like, I love Colton. Colton's so fun. Colton plays the drums. Colton is an all-American hero. I love Colton. I'm going to only watch F1 when James is on the broadcast.
I think that's fair. I don't think he gives all-American hero. I think he gives some guy from the Midwest. Like, there's something about Logan Sargent where I was like, this is an Captain all-American America guy. I think the thing is he's just been un-American in IndyCar. So I'm just like, well, he's like one of them, sure. I just don't know if I feel he hasn't been through the battles. You haven't seen him
decked out. You haven't seen him decked out though in the American flag helmet and stuff like that the same way you did Logan. I think your view could change.
He's not going to have an American flag helmet.
Why?
Because he always wears the Brian Herta themed helmet.
Okay, but like it's F1. They're different there. I don't know.
Yeah, but Colton's not going to be different there.
Yeah. Maybe they'll put him in a Lando Blob helmet because he's on Team Lando now. Lando came out and he was like, guys, I actually fuck pretty heavy with Colton Herta. I'm not going to lie. I think he's pretty cool. I think he's pretty good. And I think the super license is majorly dumb and stupid. I was like, fuck it. Hand me one of those little blob things. Gimme. Come on.
Give me a blob.
Come on. I'm a Lando Norris fan now. Come on. You did it. No, you finally got it out of me.
That's my role. I've always known he was cool with Colton Herta. I've always known it. Lando would never say anything wrong against her. I guess he is our American hero. I mean, who else we got out on the front lines? Just Emily in Paris.
And Colton Herta.
Colton and
he's gonna have to live in Europe now. Where's he gonna live?
And he's got those big dogs.
Well, I think that they allow those in Europe.
But yeah, but are they gonna like it? Do you ever think of them?
Oh no, I don't think so. Probably not. But they'll have to, huh? I don't know. Where's he gonna live? Where the fuck is Cadillac headquartered? What's going on here? Where is Cadillac?
Isn't it in America? I don't know. But great news. You and I have been talking about how we want like Cadillac Dwight Yoakam vibes. We want we're finally gonna get kind of that country American twang with our caddy. Not that although I do think Checo and Valtteri will provide the cowboy like vibes.
So
yes,
they have their headquarters in Fishers, Indiana. I did know that. But they have their actual like operational stuff in Silverstone, which means like he'll be by like I think that's where like Aston Martin's stuff is too. Wonderful. And then the power unit facility is in North Carolina. That's good. They'll get some of those NASCAR. They'll give them a American Thunder, America NASCAR to Le Mans type car. You know what I mean? That's the sort of vibes they'll get from there. And then what? You don't believe me?
No, I was gonna say it's just gonna be a NASCAR power unit, and halfway through he's gonna go,
like shit, we have to make a different kind for the F1 car. I mean, I thought we could just make this one fit, probably.
Yeah, it like can't fit, or it's too loud, or something.
It's probably too loud. It'll scare the Europeans. See, I feel it coming back. I feel it already coming back. I feel myself again. I get to be like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's an American team. That's an American. It's a boy from California, and I'm going. That's my Midwestern king. Yeah.
He was born and raised in the Midwest. He's just some small town farm boy.
This one knows how to do ovals. Yeah, he knows how to do ovals. He understands the art of turn and left. You guys could never understand that. He's going to scare all the F1 drivers. They're going to be like, oh my God, he's done an oval. He's fucking fearless.
I do hope there has been talks of him coming back. We've been talking about him coming back to do the Indy 500 during Formula 2. So we don't know whose team he's going to be on in Formula 2. We don't know. That's all we know. Literally, all we know is that he is going to be a test driver for Cadillac, likely going to Formula 2. That's it. That's all we know in the Colton Herta camp. Oh, well, never mind. We won't talk about it because we'll talk about it this weekend.
At where?
Oh, we have a podcast.
Oh, no. I knew that. But what were you going to say? Is this something that we can't say today?
We can, but it's not really IndyCar related. I think it'll fit in more with what we talk about.
With the rest of the stuff?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. So we have Cadillac situation unfolding. Now we have an open seat at Andretti. The puzzle pieces are starting to fall into place.
The
Who's
shoes.
going to go there?
They're dropping.
Who's going to go to that Andretti seat? Oh, would you look at that? They posted drummer wanted on their socials. I know a drummer. I saw him last weekend at Tootsie's. Who is it? Willpower!
Exciting. I really liked what the social admin did. Shout out to Andretti's social team. That was really, really funny. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that they're being serious right now. And then they're like, good news, willpower. And that edit that they dropped where I think it was Nathan Brown who asked the question of like, I don't know what the question was, but the answer to it was kind of like willpower being like, if you don't know that I'm good enough by now, like I am fucking good enough. And then it was just like this edit of all the sick things that willpower has done. So yeah, willpower, it could have been eons longer, but to be fair, they had the day off for Labor Day.
And they're laborers.
Famously.
So they had to relax. I understand. What are we going to do with this, huh? Because I feel like this vibe of this Andretti team is very different. I think I like it, but I'm scared a little.
Am like giddy. The fact that he's going to be in a good car with a good team. Pit stops, questionable. Sure. What can you do? He has, I think, I love the storyline that we went from willpower like bullying Kyle Kirkwood in Detroit to, oh my God, wait. Now they're 2/3 of the Powerpuff Girls, the Andretti Powerpuff Girls. Amazing.
Forced proximity lovers, if you will.
Sure. Enemies to teammates. I think it's going to be a competitive car. Like, I was so prepared for him to kick butt in an RLL, but now I'm like, oh, they're giving him an Andretti? Are you kidding?
So do you think when Roger Penske was so willing to let Will go, he took into account such a seat could have opened up? Or do you think Roger Penske was like, we let him go, he goes to an RLL, maybe he purposely crashes into David Malukas a couple times because he's still pissed off about this whole thing, but like, we can live with that, we'll move on, whatever. Do you think that they took into account that do you think they knew or took into account that this seat would open up because of Colton leaving and that willpower would be able to directly compete every weekend in a race winning car against their team? Pissed off. Go.
Like, you almost have to assume that this was a hypothetical floating around in their head. But there's part of me that's like, you weren't considering anything. You were considering a total of 0. You were like, we have this business deal that is already done, and willpower just doesn't fit into it. I don't care where he goes. But here's what I would like to think. I'd like to think that they considered him going to a Dale Coyne or an RLL, that they didn't consider that this Colton Herta thing where he would be moving to Cadillac was actually going to happen. And I'd like to think that they were like, there's no way they would replace Marcus Ericsson for willpower. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. So I'd like to think that when this happened, they were like, oh, he's going where? He's going to Andretti? That's
pretty close to where we normally are on a race weekend. So
yeah,
sometimes
where we normally
qualify right next to each other, and like
where we
compete for wins.
Normally were prior to the state that we are at. I would say last year, him going to an Andretti, I'd be like, well, I mean, okay. I mean,
It'll
it's
work.
definitely up there. But the only reason I would say that is because Will Power in a Penske was P2 in the championship headed into the final race. Like, not Penske as a whole, but the fact that now it's going to be him and an Andretti, it's like, well, the world is your oyster, Will Power. And then
The world
Penske is
is our
still
oyster.
Penske. And they're going to have
Yeah.
a significantly weaker third driver due to lack of experience, whatever, what have you. It's
With
like,
love.
this genuinely could not have been set up better for Will Power, like, understanding the circumstance. Like, obviously, I think he'd prefer to go to Penske for a few more years and retire, but that wasn't going to happen. So I truly, like, very excited.
I think that
That's
this
all I'll
is
say.
a story in knowing your worth. And Will Power knew his worth.
Yeah.
He wasn't interested in what they were offering. And even though there was probably times where he thought there's not another door that's going to open for me and maybe I should sign just this stupid like 1 year whatever, even if it's not what I want. It all played out for him and it worked out pretty beautifully. And like you said, I'm sure he would rather have just gotten what he originally wanted, the multi-year deal at Penske. And I think that that is going to be just enough resentment, just enough anger to fuel him.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the beginning of the season, a lot of those tracks play more to Will Power's strengths than maybe David Malukas with love. So, like, I think it's going to hurt extra bad for the first couple races for Penske. I think it's going to feel a little worse than you could imagine.
I do truly, truly believe that there is a reality where we go into that first race in the season and it's like Kyle Kirkwood versus Will Power versus Alex Palou for that pole position. Like, I think he's going to start off on such a good foot heading into next season. I'm so excited. I don't think I was so ready to be sad about IndyCar and be like, "Oh, I miss them. We haven't heard from them in so many months. When would they return to war?" But it's like I
Yeah.
have never been more excited for the next season than it's like put him in now. Put him in now. What if we just did a
Well,
one-off race?
I just want to see what he can do. Come
Let
on.
me see something. Let me see something. Put him in the 26. Also,
Wins testing.
that's a great question, Andrea. And while you figure that out, I wonder if Verizon is going to follow him. I haven't watched any of the podcasts from this week, so maybe you know a little bit more than me because I know he's been interviewed. It sounds like
they posted a farewell.
Okay, so they're
him.
not following him to Andretti.
So he might have to wear the Gamebridge costume.
That's kind of what I was wondering, which I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm down with it. I guess we'll have to ask Haley for permission. If it's cool if he wears the Gamebridge Honda costume. Okay,
so
what did we hear?
I Googled IndyCar testing, and the only thing that's coming up is Colin Herta as a test driver from IndyCar. You could understand how Google could be confused. So if you guys know, when is
let us
testing?
know.
Just tell us. I'm sure you guys are already shouting at your screens that you already know it. So just tell us. But I'm going to mark that date on my calendar and I'm going to circle it with hearts and stars because I'm so excited. I want to see everybody in their new costumes and everybody in their new cars. And I want to be an Andretti fan now. Not that I didn't like Colton. I just like felt like I didn't resonate. But like now I like resonate deeply with the team lineup. I think it's very fun and I'm very interested.
Yeah, I've always been like a Andretti fan because the Kyle Kirkwood situation. But it's like, this is going to be such a well-performing lineup. There's going to be something to watch every single weekend. And boy, can I just not wait. Can I just not?
And to think at the beginning of this season, I was like, maybe I'm willing to become a Penske fan in a way. You know what I mean? It's like they got these three charming guys that I kind of like all three of them. Like maybe this is my favorite team. Am I resigned to a life as a Penske fan? Is this what I have to deal with now? And then it's like, no, my love, it gets so much brighter. What if we have Will Power in a Gamebridge Honda costume with a teammate that he previously has plowed into the wall? and said to Andretti, send me the bill. What if I told you he was on that team? How fun is that?
That's so fun. Speaking of Penske and the other Penske drivers, we have talked a lot about David Malukas. We do still have Joseph Newgarden and Scotty Mack are still Penske drivers. They're the only ones we know for sure next year. It has been said, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this, that things are not great between that pair of Penske drivers and maybe potentially
I wasn't there for that.
The driver. Well, you still gonna have an opinion.
Okay.
And potentially the driver that could be moving into Will Power's seat. That Will Power was kind of the glue that held Penske together. I just would love to know what your thoughts are on how you think they're going to fare next season. Wait, maybe just like a little speculation, just a little gossip corner. What you think the vibes are going to be?
Well, first I have to say I love Joseph and Scotty Mack, and I was not here for the time in which there was the whole Bus Bros drama. I have to say though, I care very deeply about this podcast, and I hope if we ever break up, people speculate deeply about what made us break up, and they make edits to us, and they go, "Oh, what we could have had." Maybe there's a Phoebe Bridgers song in the background just to make everyone tear up a little, because like if we ever break up, we can't ever tell anybody why, and we have to make it like deeply mysterious.
No,
right?
I'm here for that. People could probably, I wonder if people already do that now, where they're like, did Andrea and MJ seem kind of mad at each other in the last episode? And it's like,
it was an episode 22 incident. And it's just like, I cut you off few too many times, and then
it was just me like not agreeing with your Logan Sargent takes and not like playing into the bit.
you coming out as a Lando Norris lover just because I simply wouldn't. Yeah, that was the episode 22 incident. I feel like, okay, it's tough because like we're like the same age as David Malukas. No, that's kind.
No,
we're a little bit older than
I was gonna say
I was trying to play pretend.
Straight out the womb, dude. We're closer in age. I hate it. Wait, little quick side tangent. Alex Palou was on Good Morning America, and they kept saying that he was a 28-year-old four-time champion. And I about lost my marbles because I'm like, I turned 27 in like 2 weeks, and I have 0 championships.
I haven't won a single championship.
Dude, I haven't even gotten a podium or a pole position.
Do you think I'm too old for F2?
No, I hear that this is the age. This is the age to get into it.
I think Colin's younger than me.
He is.
Me. Hey guys, I think that this has been a really good episode. I think we're gonna
I want to go home. I want to go home so bad.
Okay, now that I'm done crashing out about that. Okay, I don't think David Malukas as the new person and like a fairly young person is the best equipped to deal with interpersonal relationships between teammates that might be less than ideal, nor a team that is going through so much change in their leadership. I feel for David Malukas in this way because he's kind of walking into a, shit show, a little bit. And I wouldn't wish that on him in any way. And I feel for him a little bit. And it's like, what do you do? I mean, it's like if these two are like, they have sad edits about them. It's like, you can't do anything about that. Is he going to have to pick a side? Is he going to have to like finally figure out what happened with Bus Bros and then like pick a side?
I don't know. It might just be a situation like, I mean, AJ Foyt, where it's like, there's no like camaraderie between the drivers. Like they've just, sometimes they're in pictures together, but that's about it. Maybe it'll be that kind of situation. I'm interested to see what the dynamic is, especially because it's like he is replacing a veteran driver who is still on the grid. He's still on the grid
behind me, isn't he?
He has had beef with in the past, like very, very.
Well, probably because Will Power's like, this fuck ass little kid's gonna take my fucking spot, isn't he?
Dude, and that was a year ago. Imagine what it's gonna be now. Interested. I don't know. I do feel for David Malukas because that just doesn't. Not only does he have fuck ass podcasts like us speculating about how good he actually is. I can't drive.
I actually don't know anything. I mean, like I've never seen him drive a Penske car, to be fair. So like, what the fuck do I know? And he's like,
he's driving a Penske car right now.
he's barely ever had like any fucking stability on like a team, and like has just like kind of been bounced around so many times. It's like you got to feel for the guy. What do I know about your talents and whatever? I mean, I like to think of you as pretty good at ovals, and I'd like to see you better at like road courses and street courses if you're going to be like in a Penske car. But like, you're also like just a little baby. And I'm sorry if I said anything that came across otherwise, David Malukas. It's nothing personal. I just really like Will Power, and I think he was done dirty. And I'm sure you understand, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I think I smoothed everything over.
Well, no, I mean, but he is going to have the outside speculation, like, does he deserve this seat? Because that's just how motorsports are. And then he's also going to have to deal with coming into a team that he doesn't know, where he's replacing a driver who is very dearly loved by the team. It's like, I don't envy him. He's going to have an uphill battle, very uphill battle. I'm not wishing ill on him. Like, I don't want him to like come in and like have just a really bad season. Like, I wouldn't want him to have like the season that even Joseph Newgarden had this year. Joseph Newgarden, who is like a very acclaimed driver. But I just realistically speaking, it's like we don't have a whole lot of backing to be like, he's going to come in and he's going to be super fine and everything's going to be sunshine and roses and Penske's going to get it together and they're going to win the Indy 500 and everything's going to be fine. We don't have that data.
Probably not going to happen.
No.
Well, I have a question for you. When do they announce it? Why haven't they announced it? What's going on? What if we did all this and it's not even him? we're like, oh my God, David Malukas is going to have it so hard. And then like in like 3 days, it's like Renus.
Honestly, you know what? That could be fair. Egg on our face. They can announce it whenever is the thing, because there's nothing else we're waiting for. We are genuinely, they're in kitten. Sure, but we're never going to get that. There is no swimming pool. There's not even a house. We don't know if IndyCar's coming back next year. This could all be for naught. Imagine Will Power's like, I'm going F2.
I don't know if you guys know this. There's an Australian doing pretty fucking good over there, and I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't my time.
I mean, his dad was a very good F2 driver, so like,
Will, chase your dreams.
Will, get in there.
No, Will probably has a super license. What are we talking about? He's probably scored high enough. He's probably scored high enough in the, what is it, like last 3 seasons? Whatever that bullshit math is they do. He's probably fine. He probably has a super license. Fuck it. Will Power is the reserve driver to Cadillac. They have Checo, Valtteri, and Will Power, and their young nephew Colton Herta.
Dream team. Are you kidding?
Wow, my dream date.
I was saying, okay. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
It just, podcasts feel different on a Friday. I feel like we're just FaceTiming. But what I was going to say, or what I was saying, or maybe I didn't even start saying it, but I'm just thinking about it. Yes, Andrea?
When I said cool, casual, let's do this podcast like it's a FaceTime, and you acted like you didn't know what the fuck I meant by that.
No. Do not. I didn't act like I didn't know what you were saying. I was like, what are we doing? Like, we've always just done that. Dude, we just put up our like third 3-hour-long podcast. This is already over an hour. It's no, I think it is too. I did start to look back and see how many we've done 3 hours, and I was like, oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry.
Guys. We have a lot to cover, guys. I'm sorry.
We couldn't get to the point if we had a map, frankly. As I was saying, I think.
You have a point?
I don't really. Not that I found out.
I'm sorry, I'm done cutting you off. Go.
About when Penske announces it is like all the balls are in their court, because the 2 announcements we are kind of waiting on is free agent Renus BK, which we are at this time presuming would go to AJ Foyt. That's not going to be announced until they announce their number 12 seat, which we are presuming at this time is going to be David Malukas. So it's like those balls are in Penske's court. The only other things we are waiting on is like totally independent of them. Like we're waiting on like JHR, we're waiting on Dale Coyne Racing, we're waiting on Prema. It's like they don't have anything to do with that. The likelihood of David Malukas or Renus BK, who at this time we are presuming are going to the seats that we are presuming them to go, they have nothing to do with that. So unless he does go to Juncos, in which case this is all a moot point. Yes, Andrea?
Do you want to place bets on what day we think that they will get the Dale Coyne lineup? They said by Halloween. Maybe we pick dates and whoever's closest owes the other one
A cameo.
A cameo.
Where you have to say whatever the other person wants to say. And then I'm going to post it on my page because I'm going to be right. I'm not competitive at all, but I do think it would be funny to get a cameo from you.
What day do you think it is?
They said by Halloween.
Wait. Maybe we both like just pick a day and then say it at the same time. So like write down so that way we don't feel influenced by what the other person says. It's only fair.
I think I've already decided when you said pick a day. I already kind of decided the day.
Go.
You want me to say? I think November 17th. What are you going to say?
MJ said, fuck your Halloween deadline.
It's not happening. I still think I'm being generous with November 17th.
I'm going to go with Halloween. Dead on.
The 31st of October. Not Baker's Night. The 31st.
I think it's a Friday. So it's a Friday. And what I think will happen is like on Monday of that week, they're going to be like, fuck, why did we say that? That's so dumb that we said that. And then they're going to like work. If you work for Dale Coyne, I'm sorry. You're going to be working late that week because you guys got to find a driver's lineup by Friday.
I mean, you're really giving them a lot of faith because the amount of times last year they said you're going to know within the next week. You will know by this date. And then it was like, what is Renus doing at testing? And they're like, oh yeah, we just actually remembered this guy.
Who do you can we speculate about who you think it's going to be? Because I've heard they're going all new.
Yeah. Dennis Hauger, I think, is probably going to be one of the drivers. And then I'm just going to put this out here. Linus Lundqvist.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
I think if Linus... Okay, once again, everything we're saying is speculation based on vibes and vibes alone. I could maybe potentially see Linus Lundqvist going to JHR. Yeah, could see that. But I think the fact that Dale Coyne kind of already has a sponsor lined up may work into his benefit. I also thought maybe it was a little Easter egg. Once again, speculation, reading way too into things, that he posted that picture of him doing like the neck training right after Renus said that he wasn't going to continue at Dale Coyne and was like always prepared for a seat. I was like, you sneaky son of a bitch. I like what you're playing at. So maybe.
And if they choose Linus, they barely have to change any of the stuff that they've inevitably already printed with Renus's name on it.
It's true.
They're like, we don't have much of a printing budget. Let's just take a black Sharpie and see if we can make this look a heck of a lot more like Linus.
Draw an L. That's really funny. That is good.
Thanks.
Yeah, good job. You are funny.
Oh, thanks. Okay, can we talk? Do you want to talk about seats or silly season anymore? At this point, we've talked about everything that's for certain. Do you have anything else speculative, fake, made up, rumors that you want to start?
I think Roman Grosjean will be back on the grid for 2026.
I thought you would say that. You're so sick and fucking twisted. It's going to be him and Stingray Rob, isn't it?
I truly think there is a potential there. But Andrea, here's what you're forgetting. Do you remember how silly it was one of the first oval races you ever watched? And
when you did the fucking emails bit.
He was like, do you remember where you were and how much you were like, did he just say he didn't know what strategy we're on because he read the wrong email? Do you remember how fun and silly and goofy that was?
I think what's making me I think like I have a soft spot in my heart for Roman Grosjean because I do think he is silly and I do think he's funny and I do think he's goofy. The only thing that pissed me off lately is when he said, I think I'm ready to come back to IndyCar. You didn't leave voluntarily. Stop making it seem like you're deciding to come back and we're all just waiting on the edge of our seat. You got fired! And that's fine. That's fine. Just don't make a statement then. Just show up at the paddock and do what you did at Nashville, which is just wander around, not at all with Prema, which is the team you're allegedly here with, and just do your own thing, shake some hands. I saw him. I saw him on the grid walk, shaking some hands, chatting up. I haven't seen you all year. Where have you been, Roman Grosjean? I thought you were a fake ass reserve driver or whatever the hell that is. Oh shit, what are we going to do about those RLL reserve drivers?
I wouldn't be surprised if there is a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup at RLL. I know the talks but we had this last year, to be fair, this is all speculation and vibes. There were talks, obviously, with Yuri Vips potentially coming into the, I don't know, 30 or 45. I think it's like solely based on funding right now, not by performance. Shocker. Hi, are we going to have to cut all the RLL stuff?
I don't know. You're our PR person.
I think possibly Yuri Vips maybe replaces Dev, but it's like Dev has money. Dev has dollars. Dev has Doge.
Dollar money. Dollar money. Stacks. He's got stacks. He's got fat stacks.
I think we're going to have to cut this out too. I think the past 10 minutes, we're going to have to cut all of it out.
Well, no. I'm trying to save it. I'm trying to make jokes that we can keep in there.
We can't save
stacks,
it.
Money, dollar. He's got bands, absolute bands. They're in the blockchain, but they're bands.
We can't. I don't want to talk about RLL anymore. We have to move on. I'm getting upset. This is like the Beatles.
If you guys are cut, I don't know where we're gonna have to cut and where we're gonna have to keep it. If you guys are just coming back, just know we had a horrible breakdown about RLL. It went really south really fast, and we had to come back to you now to say Yuri Vips might go to RLL. Cool or not cool? Happy for you. Sorry that happened. I don't know. Hope you can find bands, buddy. I don't know, but they need dollars. Not on the blockchain, real hard money, cash.
If you have to log into your wallet to get any of that money, does not count. Does not count unless you're BitNile. Sorry. Let's move on.
Episode. Okay, no more speculating. We're not speculating anymore. It gets too out of hand way too fast. Okay, let's talk about real. Let's talk about concrete. Speaking of concrete, let's talk about street courses.
That was really good.
Thank you.
That was really, really good.
I wouldn't even plan it. That was fun. That was good. Wow. So we kind of already knew that things were going to have to change with the Canada race, because the Canada race, which was an expedition, is it place or palace? I don't know. So they obviously were going to have to change that, because that area was going to be used for sports ball and stick sport.
The World Cup, right?
As if anybody watches
football.
Soccer.
Football.
Is that how they say it? Football? No, it's Canada.
Football.
It's not really that different from us. So basically, we knew that was happening. And then a bunch of people lied and schemed and rumored all these rumors. And then I was not prepared for the real news, because nobody rumored about it. Did you see rumor about the rumor? I didn't see this rumor.
Like 100% knew this was happening before it happened.
Okay, why didn't you fucking tell me then?
Well, I just assume everything I know, you know.
That's a horrible assumption to make.
Everything I know that you know, and everything you know, I don't know.
You know way more about IndyCar than me. It's never a safe bet to assume that I know what you know.
I just assume, but you're so like ear to the ground. You'll go, did you see this on Twitter? I'll go, I haven't opened Twitter in days. I don't even know how to couldn't find the app if you asked me to on my phone.
Guys, I've been on Twitter for like literally a month and a half. I hate the person I've become. I got to log off. It is rotting.
She has changed. She has changed since moving to Twitter.
My nose. Hold on. I'm turning my mic off. You keep talking.
Okay. I do still love her dearly, but yeah, she's a different person since getting the things that are like, have you seen this on Twitter? When we used to like send things back and forth from Twitter, it was just because I had notifications on of like Bob Pockris, Jeff Gluck, Nathan Brown.
You used to send me the tweets, and I used to go, I can't open that.
But it would only be like those tweets. There was no scrolling. But now she scrolls. So I'm just like, I assumed that's why people are on Twitter, is because all the information I'm getting elsewhere is already on Twitter and accessible and in a little bite form. But apparently not. But no, I knew this was happening. I don't know whether it was
I
from
didn't know.
Nathan Brown. Well, me name dropping. I don't know whether me listening to his podcast gave me all this information I pretend to have.
Dude, that's his podcast? Wait, no, I can't say that because then they won't listen to our podcast. Never mind.
No, I think
they would a different type of podcast.
They would never go on a 15-minute tangent about RLL that they would later have to cut. So you are going to get something different from them, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I've broken up with a lot of podcasts that I used to listen to, and I've like been trying to find new podcasts. And MJ came like a angel from above, and she said, "Did you know Nathan Brown has a podcast?" And I was like, "I didn't." Nathan Brown, do you want to come on Lap Traffic sometime?
I doubt he would, but I think that would truly be
the end of his reputation, probably.
Also, correct.
Yeah.
But so what is the news, Andrea?
Some place in Canada I've never heard of. I think James Hinchcliffe is from there, though, so it's probably a nice place. It looks like a suburb. Question mark?
Markham?
I'm sorry to the Canadians. We're not.
I greatly apologize. I should listen to things with the audio on. I just can't. I
should have fucking called Disha. Been like, how do you pronounce this?
Disha.
I don't know. It seems like a little bit more out of the way. It's obviously not like a city central sort of place. I'm already scared and worried about like, how are people going to get to this track? Is there like transportation? Is there hotels? It kind of looks like it's like just some like suburb off a highway a little bit. And I don't know. I saw some person on YouTube do like a lap around like the hypothetical track.
How was it?
It wasn't like what I would say is like riveting, but like I could be swayed if they like put some fun stuff around there.
The only thing that I noticed when no one sent me anything. When they put out the track layout was this crazy like little hairpin situation with like a bulb on the end of it. I was like, that's gonna be interesting. But I'm also like, I can't look at a track and be like, that's going to be a good race or not, especially when it's like the track is just like a drawing on top of a Canadian flag. I'm like, well,
whatever you say.
Could be. But I've always enjoyed Toronto for the most part, besides like all of those yellow flag incidents but that didn't have anything to do with the track, did it?
Well,
no?
That sucks because this is going to be on the calendar for the next several years. So Toronto is
Toronto no more.
No. That was good. No, that was good. We'll workshop it.
It just feels different. Anyways.
Since the RLL rant.
Yeah, I just feel weird now.
maybe someday if we ever do a Patreon, we'll just have to like be like, fine, you guys can hear the RLL rant. It was crazy. You had to be there.
It was good.
I don't know. I feel like I'm not excited about this, but it's also like not my business. Like I wasn't gonna go to it anyways. So it's like, I don't know.
None of my business. I'm okay. Like okay. Hell yeah. I don't know. There's no part of me that's like, I don't expect anything bad from this yet. Like I have no reason to be negative about it. It's a new track. New tracks are always fun because no one knows what's going on. So maybe that'll be interesting. Also, I wonder do you think they're going to do anything with the World Cup? Like any kind of advertising or anything? Like marketing?
Depends. What network is World Cup shown on?
Isn't it?
Probably, knowing the presidential tie.
Oh.
Not a fun twist. Who will broadcast? Yeah, it's Fox. It's Fox.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Because remember when IndyCar last year, Peacock was like, the Olympics are coming up, and we are going to be taking a break. I wonder if Fox, are we going to take a break for the World Cup? I guess I don't. Guys, here's what I'll do. I'll figure out what the World Cup is, and I'll get back to you guys on Sunday.
Yeah, what are they? Is it like the Olympics? Like, is it like countries provide teams?
I think so, yeah.
Why don't we just do that during the Olympics? How is this different? I'm sorry. I don't watch soccer. I'm going to shut up. I'm like definitely offending somebody. I'm really sorry, guys. This is really nothing personal.
I'm just not familiar. I probably will tune into the World Cup because if there's one thing about me is I love a sport that's long. I love a long sport. And football, in my opinion, long sport. But yeah, I'll
Stop
look
saying
up
football. You're from Iowa.
No, dude.
It's
not.
Soccer.
I'm European now. If Colin's going to Europe, so am I.
So I definitely think that is interesting. What I found interesting was that we have a date for it. They didn't just announce the race was happening. They gave a date. Whoa.
Bus.
That was crazy. So the date they gave is August 14th to 16th. I think this is interesting because we're starting to fill in slots. So we have sure a date for Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a date for this in St. Pete. So like I think what IndyCar is doing is like they're doing like a Taylor. I think they're doing like a Taylor Swift, like dropping hints one at a time, and you have to figure out what the IndyCar 2026 schedule is.
I think you're giving them too much credit. I think we're actively watching them figure out the 2026 schedule.
I don't like the pieces that have dropped so far, to be honest. It's like Arlington is fine. I actually will. We were just talking. We will be interested in going to Arlington, but then it's like, well, I have to wait because if there's a Phoenix race, I'm going to want to go to that more because I like NASCAR and IndyCar. So I'm not going to be able to take that much time off work. So I'm not going to be able to do Arlington and Phoenix if they're right next to each other. And then if there is a Mexico City race, it's like, I kind of want to go to that too. But I feel like those would all be next to each other. See, this is what happens when you leave us to our own devices, IndyCar. Now it's like I get stressed out and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go to an IndyCar race. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know.
Throwing in the towel before the towel is even in front of us.
I'll be at Nashville. How about that? If that's the season ender, I'll be at Nashville again. That's all I can guarantee you.
Nashville was renewed. That it's like, get some ovals on the calendar, boys. Why can't we have a big reveal of being like, look at the new course. It's an oval. No, it's already been there.
They're gonna fucking no. You know what? This is the IndyCar episode, and I'm talking about it.
Okay, Queen.
I wanted Richmond. I don't want a Washington, D.C. street race. Well, we have other street races. I'll still go to it probably because I'm hopelessly addicted to this sport and I do live in D.C., but I want an oval. Give me an oval. Give me Richmond, please.
Even at this point, that's not sure yet. Mexico isn't sure yet. This Phoenix thing, people are like, it's done and dusted. We are going to have a Phoenix doubleheader. And I was like, we are relying, I cannot express this enough. At this point, we are relying on IndyCar to make this happen. NASCAR is already part of the doubleheader. Their parts are already signed, sealed, delivered. It's like, I have like 0 to less than 0 faith in IndyCar in any aspect of scheduling right now. So I'm just like, I'm not getting my hopes up for literally anything at all at this point until I see a schedule right in front of my greasy little paws.
And then when I do have one, I'm going to print it out. I'm going to get my colored highlighters. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to go to this one. And then I'm going to go home and I'm going to look at my leave hours for work. And I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to have to change some of these colors later. I probably can't go to that many, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that day.
It'll be fun. It'll be good.
Yeah. It'll be good. Come on, IndyCar. You got it. So, are we ready to move on to our last topic?
Yeah.
We've already lost the plot enough. Let's full send it, MJ,
let's get into there.
This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. So one of our most popular episodes that we've ever done of Laps Down is our one about motorsports marketing. It's something that me and MJ talk about relentlessly on our own FaceTimes. And maybe it's time we bring the conversation back up. We've been like ruminating on this a little bit. And never has there been a more perfect time than when we finally got the numbers released for the IndyCar season as a whole on Fox. So they average about 1,362,000 viewers which is a 27% year to year increase from 2024 and the most watched season in 17 years. Now, is the Indy 500 numbers pulling a lot of that average up? I'm like, that is not the number we've been seeing for most of these races. So I'm thinking
Yes.
that like average is not a fair way, I feel like, to measure this. I'm happy for you. 27% increase sounds fun. I will say though, just like keep in mind if you haven't been following this all year, a million is not what we're hitting. We're not hitting a million.
No, I
And
think
that's
it is
fine.
being. I think the Indy 500 is a bit of an outlier, but I do think saying that this is the most watched season in 17 years, like,
It's fair.
okay, hell
That's
yeah.
fair. I'm in. I'm not gonna like tear it apart. I just like think it's important if we're gonna provide just like raw statistics that like we point
Yeah,
out like it's not
context.
completely representative. I will say though, even though the numbers of the races individually have not been hitting that million, some of them have been doing pretty great, like Nashville. Some of them have not been doing very great. Like, to be honest, a lot of like the road courses and street courses were kind of on bad weekends for other things to be happening. And some of them even saw a decrease. And people said, oh, it's because there was this golf thing or there was this like football thing. I thought we were watching motorsports. Why are you guys watching other sports? I don't have a podcast about golf. Anyways, massive lift in 18 to 34 and 18 to 49 demographics, and huge increases with women viewers aged 18 to 34. They saw a 72% increase, and women ages 18 to 49. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. They saw a 30% increase. Okay, whatever. Mostly young women. And then young people as a whole saw growth. Pretty significant growth. So I thought it would be good to talk about kind of what we think these demographic shifts mean. How do you keep gaining in these demographics? We can talk about young people in general. We can talk about specifically young women. And we can talk about how you keep them, because I think that there is like something to be said about you got somebody to watch. Now, how do you keep them watching? And I think that those are two different solutions. So I was thinking we could talk maybe about just like young people in general first. Does that work for you?
How we got them or how we keep them?
How we got them, what we might have been doing right, and what we need to do to keep them. And if it drifts into the young women conversation a bit, we can just do that. Because obviously that's what me and MJ, obviously, like, we are that demographic. We are like that 72% increase in young women in the last like year or so. This is the first full IndyCar season I've ever watched. That's me. That's me. I'm the increase. So
I did my part.
I watched the races, even if there was a golf game going on.
So true.
I'm so brave.
I think there are quite a few things we can attribute this growth to. I do in some ways think that IndyCar has benefited from the increase in Formula One viewership, especially in America, because obviously IndyCar is mostly in America, or it is in America. It is an American motorsport series, but I just meant like the viewership in is like mostly American. Although there is definitely international viewership, which I'm interested in. Like, we haven't seen really any statistics for that, I feel like.
Yeah,
Besides the
I'm
point.
curious. I met somebody who's like, I watch like the Spanish broadcast because he was from Spain.
Yeah.
And he lives in DC. And he like, it's just like they have a Pillow bias. I'm like, well, that's easy.
Sick. Sign me up for that.
It's the easiest
So
job
do
as
we.
a commentator ever. Yeah, I
It's
do.
like-
I mean, like we do that every weekend, but
Yeah.
like at least yours is in Spanish. I guess that's fun.
Hell yeah. But I think that obviously, or maybe not obviously, but my speculation is some of that bump in viewership did come from like obviously the rise in F1, the rise in like open wheel series, people just getting into motorsport in general through F1 and Drive to Survive. And then they go, okay, so I like F1. There's only 3 F1 races, but someone introduced me to IndyCar. And maybe that introduction was through social media, the same way a lot of people get into F1. Or maybe it was from, I mean, even Pato, who does show up on the McLaren socials a lot for Formula One. So I definitely think that there was a bump from that.
I think it's like even like specifically in young people too that are into F1, I think that IndyCar is a more accessible
100%.
way to enjoy the same thing in a way that you enjoyed about F1, but like you are maybe in college or you and your friends just want to take a little trip, you're more likely to do that for an IndyCar race than an F1 race for just simply like accessibility purposes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also, maybe this is my personal opinion, I think that the IndyCar community is a little bit more welcoming than maybe what an American would find trying to be a part of the F1 community as a fan. So that
Well,
could
okay.
also be appealing.
I think if you're an F1 fan who goes on like TikTok or something, definitely more welcoming. I think like F1 races, if you've never watched an F1 race and you go to like Vegas, it's pretty welcoming because nobody there has ever
Well,
watched F1.
sure, if you're going to like
Yeah,
an F1 race in America and that's like the
yeah.
extent of your fandom, like
But
I think you'd probably
online,
be
you're
a little
unsafe.
bit, yeah. And I just don't think that that's as prevalent right now currently in IndyCar. Who's to say? Who's to say we don't all turn into like fiery assholes in the community? Who's to say? Um, I think yeah, that's I'd give a lot of credit to um just like the
That
internet communities kind of getting people, maybe people who watch other motorsports, maybe people who've never watched motorsports before, and be like, okay, you like that? Well, here's IndyCar. And
yeah.
here's it. And look, it doesn't ever conflict with F1 and whatever, what have you.
I think sometimes I feel like being a fan of IndyCar and going out of my way to try to get other young people to watch IndyCar, it can sometimes feel like an MLM at times.
It 100%. I feel like 90% of being an IndyCar fan right now, me just throwing out percentages, you guys like stats? These are all made up. I feel like a lot of being an IndyCar fan, especially in an internet space, is just being like, you should
Have you
watch
ever seen
IndyCar.
this?
Do you
Do you
want
want
to
to
get
see it
into
right now?
IndyCar? Do you have any questions about IndyCar? Like, what can I do to help you get into IndyCar? Because I think you would really enjoy it.
What if I go to this website and I type in a bunch of information and then you just put in your credit card and then we buy you these tickets to the closest race? What do you think? If I walk you through it, would you go? I'll sign you up. There's a bonus. Can we start
Yeah.
getting like promo codes for IndyCar?
Like the NTT IndyCar Series app.
No, fuck that joke. I'm not playing it anymore because it genuinely makes me feel left out. I feel like I was thinking just like, wait, what if we start giving influencers promo codes for tickets?
They would have to start selling tickets.
Would you buy a ticket if you had a promo code though? I don't know.
I mean, that would be interesting, but I think the only benefit would be for like the influencers to be like, am I actually getting people into IndyCar?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That could be
It's just a
interesting though. It would be interesting to be like, and see, this is why I'm like, I wish this was a live stream because I would love to know of our audience. Like, how did you, if you're not like an IndyCar truther from like the beginning, if you're new to motorsport in the past few years, how did you get into IndyCar? Like, what was it that made you
Yeah.
finally dive in? Were you an F1 fan who found it? Like, that's how I found it. That's how I figured out
Yeah.
that IndyCar even existed. I think that would be really interesting just to kind of
Well,
delve into that.
that kind of brings me to my point of like how you keep young people to stay. And from what I've seen, like of people talking about how they've gotten into IndyCar, it is sometimes oh, I watched this other motorsport, whether it be NASCAR, if you're like, I think like sometimes like the younger men demographic tends to be like, oh, I watched NASCAR and then I started watching IndyCar. And for women, it's more of like I started watching, I hate to like be so like just from what I've seen trends. Like, oh, I started watching F1 and then I got into IndyCar. But there's also this other sector of like younger people that are in IndyCar and IndyCar fans in general that are like, I was born and raised in the Midwest. I knew about IndyCar. IndyCar was a thing my family was a part of. IndyCar was a part of my life. I lived close to this track. I did this, I did that. And when we talk about how to keep young people in a sport, I think that the IndyCar community can be very welcoming. I also think that there is an aspect of people that have been in it because of family tradition or like it being more like personal to them, feeling at times kind of gatekeepy sometimes towards new people that come in a little bit more through like just other motorsports or just like happened upon it. And if you're
Mhm.
talking about how to keep young people into the sport, some of this comes on Fox and some of it comes on the fan base, but more on Fox is like, how are you going to get us assimilated into this fandom? How am I going to learn about IndyCar's like history? How is it going to be like something, you know what I'm saying? Like if I've just started watching this year, how do you get those young people up to speed with everything so that they can be part of the conversation? Some of it will be like self-research, but I also would love to see more of like an effort on social media, maybe in the off season or like just in general, like um during the broadcast or something like that, doing more of that familiarization with IndyCar history or like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's like the hardest thing of like a fan base is if you have
Yeah.
this one sector that's like super already like gung ho on IndyCar and you're trying to introduce like a large mass of people that just got here this year, that could be a hard thing to try to marry together. You don't see it as much with like football or something because it's like everybody watches football at some point in their life. You get the fucking vibes. You know who won the Super Bowl even if you didn't watch the Super Bowl.
Well, in football, I would say like other sports are not so history
Dependent.
dependent.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly due to like team sports versus what I mean, I've been thinking about that a lot. I could talk about that for a while. Um I I think Fox did a decent job, at least at the first half of the season, of definitely being like, okay, well, let's try to balance these two audiences, the new audience and the returning audience. It's like, let's talk about, I mean, they did it with like Laguna Seca where they talked about like the Brian Herta move. Like they would do
Yeah.
like little bits of history, and then I feel like we didn't see it as much near the ending of the season, and you can like let me know if I'm wrong, but like even like the breakdowns of the cars like they kind of do
Yeah.
for NASCAR. So I'm like, these little things I think are definitely helpful. I think IndyCar has a really serious problem of like it's hard to figure anything out um if you're not already like deep into it. And so I
Yeah.
think that can kind of lead to like I'm being like the sport is gatekeeping itself. Like for me to get a direct answer when you ask me a question about IndyCar and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not sure. Let me look it up." I have to check multiple different sites to get
Yeah.
a semblance of an answer. And I think that's an issue as well. But then, of course, a part of it falls on the fans. And I think even like, I mean, like, we're content creators. Like, I can say that. We can come out as content creators.
Yeah.
I
We
think,
are. That's powerful.
wow, wow.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you
I don't
think.
get paid for this in any way.
No, not a thing. Not a single
Yeah,
cent.
not a dime.
If anything, we're out
We're losing
millions of dollars on
a
this.
lot.
I'm in debt.
How much do you think this mic cost, first of all?
First of all, um, but I think some of that gatekeeping kind of like falls to the creators. Maybe not necessarily like that. We can't really gatekeep IndyCar. We just got here. Like we could try. We
Right.
can't really do it. But to kind of like break down that feeling of the sport being gate kept in a way, kind of a roundabout way to say it. But so like I feel the need to make these like preview videos and answer people's questions and stuff because those resources just aren't anywhere else
There.
that's like accessible. So I think content creators can keep the younger fans, even if
Yeah.
maybe this is a statement I'll make. I think that content creators could do more for these younger fans, especially because I will say that I think a lot of them are on social media than what I think maybe Fox could do in their efforts
Right.
to keep the
They
fan. That
have
being
their
said,
yeah.
they still have a responsibility to continue like teaching about the car or like teaching about history and stuff. But I really do think like seeing content creators make all these videos about like what the fuck is going on and do these history deep dives
It
and answer people's
matters to
questions.
get people
It's
in.
so important. I would have never gotten into IndyCar if it weren't for Podium Pop. Podium Pop was how
Yeah.
I got into IndyCar. They were the ones who was like, this stuff's kind of lit. This series is kind of lit. Let me tell you about it. And so I was like, oh, well, because I've heard of IndyCar, but everyone was kind of like gatekeepy. Yeah, gatekeepy. And so when you have that like single door, single access point, it does make a difference.
No, and like I think sometimes I forget like really how I got into IndyCar. Besides, like I'm gonna be honest, like I just like was like, oh, we're doing like this like content creator thing, and like I like racing, and F1's not really cutting it right now. Like what else could I talk about? And I remember the car, like the number 6 McLaren drama being
Mm-hmm.
so confusing to me because I didn't know who any of these people were. And honestly, content creators talking about this, I hate to say it, drama is what got me to be like, who the fuck is Nolan Siegel? Or like,
Yeah.
why'd they drop David? This looks like a sweet boy. And like stuff like that is like I learned through TikTok about that. And I was interested enough to like go and try to figure it out for myself. But what if we had more people on the internet talking about IndyCar? Then I wouldn't have had to go elsewhere. I would have seen 6 more videos about the drama, and then eventually I would have been hooked. I think this ties well into like the younger women in specific, which is you cannot discredit the work that young women do on social media and cast it aside as like they're just making cutesy little videos, because it is so important to the growth of the sport. And like if you don't embrace it, you will get left behind. The way that like young women making videos on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram has revolutionized football and hockey and all these other sports. Same things happening for F1, same things happening for IndyCar. And IndyCar and Fox have a role in this too, which is you can't let it be a boys' club anymore.
Mm-mm.
That's my opinion. I agree. We need good content out there, and we need like thoughtful content out there. We need like a fine line. I make memes. I make fucking memes. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm like some journalist. I make memes. I try to make my memes informational of what I'm actually fucking talking about.
Yeah.
But like
Topical. Yeah.
it's still a meme, but it is still valuable. Memes, guys, I'm gonna be brave and say it. Memes have power.
Yeah. A meme
You
is
guys,
worth 1,000 words. They've always
yeah.
said that.
But like I think it's really easy for people to cast aside women content creators as like, oh, they're just making some cutesy little fucking outfit and going to the race. And you know what? Maybe some of them do, but that's still worth
Sure.
it. And then like maybe some of them interview drivers, and you like are like, well, that's not how a journalist would interview a driver. And it's like, but that's actually doing its own thing as well. You know what I mean? Like I think that like yeah, I think challenging like a little bit of like the boys club that is IndyCar media and stuff like that is a little bit like right now it's like you see I don't know, it's like it's gonna take time for I think the demographic to shift far enough. I mean, it took time with F1. I think we're just now getting to a point where maybe F1 they're like treating it like it's a women dominated sport. But like it took time to get there. But I do think it's interesting. You gotta, yeah, whatever. I'll let that go, and we can continue talking about other stuff. But like, what
No,
else
I
do you
mean,
think they could
I
do to keep young
completely
people?
agree. I think, I mean, you gotta nurture them, you know? You gotta acknowledge them. You gotta continue. And I think IndyCar, for the most part, maybe some teams more than the other, do a good job of, oh, how are we gonna reach? How are we gonna
Yeah,
reach the youths? How are we gonna reach them? Are they watching Fox all the time? Are they gonna see the commercials we put out? Probably not.
probably
They
not.
are gonna see you on social media. They're gonna see social media. They're literally gonna see you on
They're
social
on
media.
socials.
And so I think that IndyCar on Fox has really stepped up this year. I'm still not super thrilled with IndyCar social media. I think McLaren still does a kick ass job of social media. It's like you have to be able to meet these younger fans like at their level. Like you can't be like, you don't remember the good old days. You don't view us in this like traditional media, so you just like don't get to be a part of the bit. Sorry. Meeting them where they're coming from, which is social
Yeah,
media, I think is a great way to continue growing this younger viewer base, but also you have to continue to be like accessible for people our age. We can't afford to go to multiple IndyCar or multiple F1 races a year. Most of us can't even afford to go to one. A lot of us can afford to go to multiple IndyCar races a year, especially with like the fact that none of us are making money. It's all a
Yeah.
scam. Nobody makes money at
Yeah.
their jobs anymore. So it's like if they can continue to be like, okay, like the most expensive ticket is going to be like $150. Like
There
pit
needs to be a
passes,
hard line.
it's like you can't be like, okay, well, we're getting a higher viewership, we're getting more eyes on the sport, we can probably ramp up the prices. It's like, no, you need to understand that the reason you're getting this viewership, the reason that you're getting this attendance at your races is because young people can still afford to buy the tickets. When you go to increase that, you're going to lose all those bodies
For
in
the
your stands.
for the next 5 years, I would say IndyCar, and I think it will. I'm predicting it now. I think IndyCar will have a meteoric rise in the next 5 years. I feel it. I do. Knock on wood, whatever. For the next 5 years, you don't get to sell your tickets more expensive. You get to build more stands. That's just how you got to deal with that supply and demand problem.
At this point, I would just focus on marketing the races you have. If you build it, they will come. If you go, hey guys, did you know we're gonna have a doubleheader in Iowa? You should go to it.
By garnet, somebody might show up.
Somebody, I can't rehash the Iowa thing right now. It's gonna.
Thing's too hurtful.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can't. But it's like we're on a really good path. You are doing some things right, and sometimes when you are doing things right, just like don't change them. And I think right now the tickets are at a very affordable price point for people in our generation. So I think that's important. And the social media thing, like continue to post on social media, especially the individual teams. AJ Foyt, you don't post for jack shit on social media. Dale Coyne, you don't either. It's like,
Never.
And you have very like invest in social media is what I will say, because we are already finding you through social media. It's like it's almost never going to hurt to have a social media manager.
If you build
so
it, we will
truly.
come. If I show up and you've never posted, I'm not showing up anymore.
No, I think all our generation really wants is like to find a community that's like gonna meet us where we are. It's like, or want us to like join them. So it's like when you post on social media, it's like, oh, they want me here. Like they care that me, a 27-year-old woman who is frequently on social media, like they care about me and they'd like me to be a part. It's like when you see these teams where it's like you post once every like 3 or 4 months, it's like, oh, I'm not your demographic. Like you clearly don't want me. And
I'll
I think
save a follow.
Exactly. It's like I'm gonna remember this. I think IndyCar as a whole could learn from that. But
I also think like there's something to be said about like what content we would want to see on the IndyCar socials. And I'm sure you have many thoughts on this. I've made a TikTok about this, so I'm sorry if you've already seen it, but I'm still ruminating on it. Somebody that's doing pretty good at this is NASCAR. NASCAR's doing something beautiful, and they're doing something pretty good, which is you can't just post the graphic with the time that the race is on. And you can't just post like clips from the race. Like that's not, I want you to post that. I also want you to post, honestly, plug in IndyCar. You need to be posting like once an hour. And I need to see good stuff here. Okay. What are we doing here? I think we need to be seeing like more edits. Like, you know how like NASCAR has like the hype edits?
Like the hype edits. Yeah.
It's so good. I'm not talking about like, you can make lovers edits on your off time. I'm talking about hype edits. Okay. But like, I need hype edits. I need like individualized promo video format for each race. I want to see where are we going? What is the vibe of the race? I don't get that through an infographic, okay? I think like when you look at NASCAR, they have like, here's the vibe of the San Diego race, and here's a video. Here's the vibe of the Miami homestand. Yeah, we need a promo
where you have drivers like acting in the videos. They do a really good job of getting these drivers who don't necessarily want to do it to act in these videos. I think you have half a dozen drivers on the IndyCar grid right now where if you put a script in front of them, they'd be giddy. They'd be like, sure, let me do it.
But I
And not
think
to
like
cut
it like builds a vibe around the race. It gets you like like
absolutely.
it's not enough to just tell me where you're racing. Honestly, to be fair, you don't even really tell me where you're racing because you tell me, "Oh, we're at Worldwide Technology Raceway." I'm new to IndyCar. I don't know where the fuck that
Or
is. But if
the
you
Bit
show me it's
Nile
in St.
Grand
Louis,
Prix,
who the
it's like
fuck's that? I don't go here. Tell me what that is. Tell me where we're going. What is the vibe? Why should I tune in? And like, I think that like you need to build a personality around each race. It's not enough to just be like, it's an oval in the Midwest. What? Why should I watch this oval in the Midwest? Why don't I just wait for the next oval in the Midwest? Why should I watch this one?
I completely agree. And there are
If you build it, they will come.
if you I like cannot express this enough. I feel like our generation and women, I think women are just like, if
Women.
you show interest in women, specifically women, I do think that if you're like, we want you to be a part of our community, women are like, okay, I'll give it a chance. Like, sure.
Yeah.
Something, now that we're comparing to the NASCAR, this just popped up in my brain. Something that NASCAR, and to their benefit, their schedule is significantly longer than IndyCars. It's like they get like a couple weekends off like during the season. They're always posting. When the off season is
Yeah.
happening, I'm still constantly seeing posts from NASCAR. I'm constantly seeing posts from teams. When we have an off weekend in IndyCar, which we do frequently, sometimes we will have like 3 off weekends in a row. IndyCar does not
Where are you?
exist. They're not anywhere. Some of the teams will post things and bless them, like truly feeding an entire community that is starving for any kind of content. But the fact that IndyCar is so comfortable with being like, oh, but we're not working this week. Okay.
What do you
And
think you are? Laborers on Labor Day? Schedule post it, girly. I don't know. Like, I believe
that's,
in you.
and I totally understand. Big proponent of the social media team needs breaks too, but it's like, this is a 17 race season. Like, you have, like, put something up would, I think, be incredibly beneficial for you. That's always just something that really gets me about IndyCar. We're headed into the off season, as you guys know. I mean, if you're listening to 2 hours of this podcast, I'm sure you understand that we are now in the IndyCar off season.
Welcome to the off season.
And I'm just planning on, besides silly season updates, getting like diddly squat from IndyCar for this amount
Ruminate
of time.
about who's going to get the Dale Coyne seat for at least
Right?
half of this fucking off season.
If anyone wants any IndyCar content, either they're going to have to make it on their own, hope that other content creators are going to make it, or like seek it out themselves and like rewatch old races, which is great, but it's not like boosting your numbers at all. It's not getting new people into the sport. I don't know.
I don't know. But I think let's talk about the young women thing. So let's talk about women. Let's talk about girls and gals and whoever identifies. Let's talk about it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
hell yeah. So, first of all, how'd you get this data? How do you know I'm a girl? I'm watching on Fubu. Do they tell you that on
Also,
Fubu?
I also am curious because I'm like, I wish you would tell me, because I'm like in my dad's account. So I'm not even sure if I
The
count as
numbers
young
might be
women.
way up. Girls don't pay for their own cable. So this
No.
number might be way up. We're all using our dad's cable.
Hell
Or
yeah.
we're using Fubu.
Fubu.
So I don't know. Curious about that, but maybe it's just a vibe check. They're like, I feel like there's a lot of young
Like
girls
how we use statistics where it's just like whatever suits me, actually.
Sorry, I had to fix my hair. Ladies! Okay, how young girls get into motorsports. I think we talked about young people in general. So often people are trying to crack this code of like how to get women to motorsports. And I think I like came to this realization this week. I was like, there isn't really a code. Like we get into sports for the same reason men do. Like we're not like a fucking like cryptography that you have to break. It's like, why do men get into sports? They like athletes that like have a personality that they find interesting, and they like a team that they like their vibe, and maybe it has like a hometown tie or something, but like they're also in it for the storylines. And I think that this narrative that women are like needing something special is not where I feel like it lies with anymore. It's like if you build it, will come. If you build the storylines, will come. Same with men. It's about like I feel like the keeping them there and the valuing women audience and how you like show that you want them there, I feel like is where women will leave if they don't feel that way.
It's a lot in how you try to connect with women, which is why I think it's easier to connect with women like over storylines. Because it's like, if I'm going to tell you this entire storyline of why Colton Herta going to F2 is significant, it's like I'm putting time and effort into explaining this to you and trying to pique your interest and get you into the sport. And if you build it, they will come. It's like we just want to be like, we could be interested in the sport on its own, but what's really going to keep us here is being like, oh, but you're interested and you value me as a consumer, as a viewer, as a person in the stands. So that's kind of why I think maybe we get the narrative that these storylines are what piques the interest of women more, because it takes more time for me to like sit here and tell you that than for me to be like, look at 6 overtakes by Colton Herta. I know you don't know who Colton Herta is, and I know you've never watched IndyCar before. It's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's like,
Yeah.
I need a little more.
You're going to have to do it. Yeah. No, and I think, yeah.
Like the work that it puts in. Like I always, whenever someone makes a video about IndyCar, F1, whatever, and they, like, it's clear that they've planned it out. It's clear that it's focused. The audience is someone who's maybe not as into the sport, or maybe they're like a beginner in the series or whatever. I'm always like, okay, like even if I don't maybe necessarily have ever had any interest in the sport, it's like, okay, but I can recognize the time and effort that you're putting into me getting into the sport. And so I think and sometimes I think like there are content creators that I really like, and I think this might be more women than men like feel this way, but it's like if I see someone I like talking about something that I don't know anything about,
And
I'm more likely to care. Yeah, because it's like I think there's more of a personal connection with female like sports fans. I don't know.
I think it's like we've built our own community. And it would be nice for that community to be recognized in the more wider community. And I don't think we're there yet with IndyCar. And that's fine. We have our own little corner of
You mean
TikTok.
like women being recognized as part of the community in
IndyCar as equal fans, as legitimate fans, as fans who can be in it for the same reasons that men are, that aren't there because that aren't there because they like think the drivers are hot. I'm not trying to like get into that, but like can be seen as like sports fans all the same. And I think it's like, if we don't feel that community exists, don't you think they'll just leave?
I think some of them will.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like, when we say social media is so important, is because when I go on there and I see a bunch of other women talking about the sport, I feel like there is a community there, which is why, like, I think like whatever content women are putting out there about IndyCar is probably good content. You know what I mean? Because it's going to get other women into IndyCar.
Yeah.
But like, when does that like crossover have to happen where like it can't just be like, oh, we have our own little corner of the internet. Like we have to be like valued and recognized as like legitimate fans. At what point does like Fox have to reckon with like, stop trying to court a Barstool audience, because a Barstool audience is antithetical.
It's not your audience
to what we are trying to do here. Like if I feel like I'm going to a race and you're telling me you want to pack the stands with Barstool guys, do you want me there? It doesn't seem like you want me there.
Mm-mm.
And I get selling tickets is important, but it seems like we have had to make our own community, whereas the community of Fox has openly courted with the Barstool. Like they're like seen as like the legitimate audience that IndyCar wants to get, and we're like we've made our own community. Does that make sense? So when are you going to show on the main stage that you want this community to?
I think that's the $1 million question right there, because they're reaping the benefits of the community we've made for ourselves. Because if we want this community, like we have to tune into IndyCar. Like, we have to give like Fox the numbers. We have to go to these meetups at like IndyCar races. So they're already like reaping the benefits of us. I think the only time, or not, I think the only time, but they're gonna notice more once we're gone than while we're here, is the way that it's seeming right now.
And I
Which
understand
is
that there's
an
like
issue.
The Fox connection to Barstool, blah, 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 whatever. It's like just an example of like, I see a lot of people in IndyCar right now touting these numbers of like an increase in young women being fans of IndyCar. And I don't know if I'm convinced that that's by any part of the sports marketing, but rather just like an increase of an online presence of IndyCar created grassroots by content creators. And the work's not done yet. Just because you have 1 year of a massive increase in young women viewership, you don't get to like be like, we did it. Good job, boys.
Right.
Let's get out of here. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just, they're fumbling. They're fumbling it. We made the community. Like, not we specifically. I mean,
women.
I'm sure like women made their own community and you are actively benefiting from it. All you have to do is be like, hey, we're not going to be like, I mean, make merch for women.
Thanks for fucking coming. Like, that's the least you have to do. Like, be like, buy a t-shirt on the way out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a like little something.
We like the racing product. I think it'd be super cool if like figures in the community weren't like just like openly being like, you guys are all here because you think the drivers are hot. Like, that's a way you could help us out a little bit. It's like, first of all,
you think this whole fucking 3-hour podcast is about how hot Pato Award is? Buddy,
that's wild.
I couldn't even 3 hours. How on earth would I do that? How would I talk about how hot Pato Award is for 3 hours? There's no way. You have to know that we care a little bit more about other things.
Right. And that argument doesn't even make sense to me, because it's like, okay, if we all got here because, like, okay, hypothetically, we are all into IndyCar because we think Pato Award is hot. It's like, well, then like you're not marketing Pato Award to us, so it's like clearly you don't care about that either. You're not. I mean, we had one Indy 500 commercial, but it's like, if you thought that that's why we were here, you would be giving us more of that. And so clearly that leads me to believe that you understand that we are watching the sport and you are choosing or like engaging in the same capacity that male fans are. And you are choosing to ignore us and just pray for the best, just like benefit from the numbers and be like, all right, well, I guess if the women stick around, that's awesome because it's boosted our ratings. And when they inevitably all disappear because we've treated them so horribly, then we'll have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah. And like, I think like, okay, let's play a game. On your same game, we did come here because Pato Award is hot. Like, what are you going to do to, like, how could we possibly fill a whole season with that? You know what I mean? So clearly along the way, even if I think Pato's hot, I might learn something about tire deg along the way.
Right. Oh God, there's just no legs.
So at a certain point, even if somebody did come into the sport because the drivers are hot, they will be a real fan of the sport and like fully engaged in the racing within a couple months tops. So like,
so they come into the sport because they think a driver's hot. You can't keep them around with that. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you gonna do now that they're okay? That like that wore off. Like, what now?
How is your goal not to be like, you think Pato Award is hot? Here's a video of Pato Award explaining how like the racing works or something. That just leads me to believe you don't truly believe that we are all watching the sport because we think the drivers are hot. I don't buy that. I've never bought that.
I've never. Yeah.
It's like, you show me their face when they're in the car. Like, do I think his helmet is hot? His fire suit, the aero screen, like what exactly is getting me all in a tizzy that I'm watching multiple hours of a sometimes shitty broadcast as nobody's passing anybody on track? It's like, you just don't want to acknowledge, you just don't want to respect women, I fear.
I'll keep going down your little hypothetical. So I think the drivers are hot. say it's Pato. Okay, cool. But say it's another, because I'm like an 18 to, what is it, 18 to 34-year-old or something. That's what
Yeah.
the fuck we're separating this out by. Do you guys have any merch for any other young drivers that are up and coming in IndyCar that I might hypothetically in this fake scenario think are hot? Because right now it doesn't seem like it. I walk in the merch store and half of the young drivers are on teams that won't even put out merch because they might fire them in the next year. So they like, well, I print the shirt. The only driver who I could probably go buy a shirt for would be Pato because he's got his own fucking trailer because he's a smart businessman and he's like, I'm going to sell hella t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I like Christian Rasmussen. He made his own merch. Congratulations. I just now saw a diecast of his car in the merch store in Nashville. It took that long. I mean, it was Ross. And I'm not like, I get shit takes time to make. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, that's what I mean by like maybe sell him a fucking t-shirt. We had a guy walk up to us in Iowa. Real story. He said, my like stepdaughter is from the Netherlands and she loves Renus VK. And he's like, I'm looking around everywhere. I can't find a single Renus hat in this fucking IndyCar store. And you and I both had to be like, they probably don't sell them here.
It's Dale Coyne. They're not going to sell it. You guys don't care. You don't think that we're only in it for...
Yeah, so that's like so now that we've established that was all a lie. And you just said that because you don't understand how women could possibly like a sport the same way you do. Because that's so hard for you to grasp.
That's not it. It's just they just don't respect women and they don't want to see them in like an equal capacity. Because these fucking like money hungry psychopaths, if you thought I was here for young drivers and you wanted to keep me in the sport, you would be selling these young, well, okay, not young. Young was not the word I wanted to use. Like hot drivers. Sorry.
What was that?
Take it back. But if that's truly why you thought I was here,
it's such an icky hypothetical to even engage with. It makes me feel like shit because it's like that's not what I'm here for. So why do we play these games?
No. Yeah, I was just gonna like further be like you would be like you don't believe that. Nobody believes that.
Fucking shirt. You'd sell me.
You would
a little crop top.
We would have a commercial of like Renus VK. We would have commercials of Christian. Well, I guess we do have commercials of Christian Lunger, but not in the capacity we do the Pato. So I don't believe you. I think you're dumb and stupid if you think that, or if you say that, because I know you don't believe it. Nobody out there is stupid enough to think that.
I also think that like there's such an underestimation in the, I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. When you were like a fangirl, say you were like, in your middle school and high school years, when you were a fangirl, did you ever do anything casually? If you started to like something, did you ever casually get into it? Did you ever be like, I'm not really that interested in finding out everything that's ever happened in this sport and every single person that plays it and every single person that ever has played it and whether or not they potentially had an uncle that played this sport as well. And I'm going to probably watch the fucking NASCAR Tubi channel, but you know what I mean? It's like, that's the level women get into things when they get into things. So like, again, even in your hypotheticals, say they got here because they thought Pato was fucking hot, they're going to know more about the sport than some doofus off of a fucking college game day set. And give them 3 to 6 weeks, baby. They're going to know half of the fucking shit. They're going to start building their own tires out back. They don't need to learn about tire degs. They're making their own.
It would be so much easier for them to learn about this shit if there were any resources. Any resources. It's like you already got us, dude. We like the sport. We like the drivers. We like coming on here and talking about it for 3 hours. Meet me. I'm like 3/4 of the way to you. Just like meet me. Acknowledge me as a human being. Say you think women are humans. Say you think women are equal to men.
I want every single person on the Fox broadcast to go stand dead on, look into the camera. I'm talking to you, Townsend Bell, you too, and say, I think women can like sports for the same reason as men, and they are legitimate fans of IndyCar and deserve to feel welcomed in the community. And then maybe I'll let up a little. Maybe
I'll do it. Crazy. Although, shout out to all the guys who watch our podcast and understand that we we can fucks with the motorsports in an
We
equal
know
capacity.
Wheel. We know Wheel.
You do know
Wheel.
Wheel. We know
I
Wheel.
know Wheel. I know Wheel.
I'm Radio Rebel.
I also wanted to say, like, shout out to the women that watch our podcast
Oh, hell yeah.
that, like, have come up and said hi to us at the races and, like, are very kind to us. And, like, I hope there's a lot of people out there that talk about IndyCar. And I hope, like, a little bit of humor and, like, just, like, feeling like we want you to be part of this community is helpful in any way. I don't know. I feel like it's like I want to be I want to make people feel like if they don't know jack shit about IndyCar, they are welcome on our channel.
Yeah. I truly am very proud of this little community we've built, because I don't, when I'm sitting here and I'm pointing at the camera and I'm going, you don't respect women, you don't think of us as
We
equal.
don't
I'm
mean
not
you
talking
guys.
about you guys. I think we have a very welcoming community. I mean, hell, they're even welcoming to us, which crazy. That's crazy to me.
It's
What,
too much, honestly.
us?
We say
But
some crazy shit on here.
I mean, hell, we just did 2.5 hours of crazy shit that we're probably
Yeah.
going to have to cut down a little bit. That's besides the point. Yeah. Where do we go
I
from
don't know.
here?
I think it's like a moment of congratulations, pat yourself on the back. IndyCar is going somewhere. I think I'm hopeful for, like, the numbers continuing to trend upwards next year. I'm excited to, like, see if they have, like, this new energy in the sport that, like, will start coming forward in the social content, in the marketing, and the schedule if we ever get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hopeful that there is a feeling of, like, new age of IndyCar. I don't know. Maybe I'd like to be
Yeah.
a part of it. But above all else, I think that it's like you don't get to pat yourself on the back for too long. The work isn't over. Enjoy your Labor Day, laborers. We're here again next year. And
hopefully throughout the off season.
Probably you're asking too much, MJ. They
I
say
know.
they'll do it later. They'll do it later, not right now. But, like, I'm hopeful that we can continue to make strides with young people watching IndyCar, specifically young women. I hope that, like, it goes from being this niche thing to a mainstream thing, the sport in general. And I hope that people are open arms of change and are willing to not gatekeep. And I hope that the IndyCar community is ready to make a place in it for young people and young women specifically. Yeah, I think that was pretty inspiring. I think everybody's
really good.
going out into the world with a new pep in their step, guys. Let's change the world of IndyCar. What do you say?
I believe
Not
in
you,
us.
Colton. You're in Europe now. Sorry, you don't get to be part of
Colton,
this.
you're, like, literally when we talk about IndyCar, we're not talking about you anymore.
I'm sorry. We'll deal with you another time on the other episode with the F1 and the NASCAR stuff.
Yeah, not this one. This is for IndyCar only.
I think this was good.
I think
we got
I'm
a lot off our
drained.
chest. And best part is, if we said something too crazy, everybody
We
has
cut
the
it
off season
out.
to forget about it.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Everybody has the off season to forget about it. Okay, bye.
Okay, I'll see you guys in a couple days.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Don't miss us too much.
All right, bye.
Bye.